what is going on inside a leaf. I mean, they look so simple. They are so complicated. So I teach physics, so a biologist would probably disagree with me, but I would say plants are kind of like the opposite of humans, aren't they? So humans breathe in oxygen from the air and we breathe out carbon dioxide, and plants take in carbon dioxide, don't say breathe, but they take in carbon dioxide from the air, luckily for us, and they give out oxygen. And you just saw that in an equation. There we go. Oh, my leaf hanging. It's too far away, isn't it? I thought it was been smart with a whiteboard. Yeah, so you just saw that put into an equation. So plants take up water from their roots, and they take in carbon dioxide from the air, and they produce oxygen, and glucose just means sugars. Now, I showed you the equation for photosynthesis at the start while you were waiting and said what was wrong with it. You might notice that this one is slightly different. This is the correct one. But those are two mistakes that I showed you that people always make at GCSE. So the first thing they do is they put an equal sign instead of an arrow. And the reason you put an arrow is water plus carbon dioxide doesn't equal oxygen and glucose. It's not exactly the same. The plant uses these things to make these things. So you'd say water plus carbon dioxide becomes oxygen and glucose. And the other reason that one was wrong is I'd put light on this side. Water plus carbon dioxide plus light becomes oxygen and sugars. That's not quite right either, because these are kind of like the ingredients. So you can sort of think of it as making a cake. The plant uses water and carbon dioxide to make oxygen and glucose, and to do that, it needs energy from the sun. It needs light. So light is kind of like the oven, but you don't put it, if you put it on this side, which a lot of GCSE students do, then you don't get it right. If you want to put light in this equation, you'd write light above here to show that it's happening because of light. Oh, okay, right, let's look at what's happening inside this leaf then. So first of all, someone mentioned this at the end of last lesson. I've drawn the posh chemical symbols in because I was writing backwards and I just couldn't write water or carbon dioxide backwards. But this is underneath a leaf. There's little holes. Katerina, how long is this going to be? I don't know, about 20 minutes? Probably about 20 minutes. The underneath of a leaf has got lots of little holes in, called stomata, and they are what let in the carbon dioxide and the water and the oxygen out. So water is obviously like in gas form, water vapour, but oxygen and water come out of the leaf and carbon dioxide goes in. And if there's any adults in the room with you, if you're all eating breakfast together, show an adult a picture of this thing and see if they can tell me what it is. Everyone learns about this at school. I don't know if you do it in primary school, you definitely do it when you got to year 7 and then probably in year 8 as well, and definitely at GCSE. What is this, adults? It is a plant cell, and because you're nerds, I'm going to tell you the posh word for a plant cell, a leaf cell, is a palisade cell. What are these things? So remember, if you saw the leaf lesson, we looked at Robert Hooke, who discovered that inside a leaf are lots and lots of little cells all lined up. These are what the cells look like. Inside the cells are these little green things called, the ants are probably going, they're chloroplasts. And inside the chloroplast is some green stuff called chlorophyll. That's why leaves are green, because they've got this little stuff called chlorophyll inside them. But also inside these chloroplasts are stacks of pancakes called garnum. And what we're looking at today is something that you will never find out at GCSE, which is what happens inside these little pancakes. Because my problem, right, with, like, I love school, obviously, but my problem with this equation that you get taught is, it's like if I said to you, can you remember the sentence, do you like apples? Or can you remember the sentence, elephant, blurg, cup and? Like in a year's time, which one are you going to remember? This is just like, just a random collection of words and you don't understand why it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to understand today what the plant does to make this happen. I think I'm ready to show you my little setup down here. Just very quickly, I will remind you that everything in the world is made of atoms, particles called atoms. And if you look closely at an atom, you'll see that it's a positive particle with negative particles whizzing around the outside. The negative particles are called electrons. We have covered those quite a lot before. The positive particle is called a proton. So I'm going to talk about both these things today. Claire says, pancakes. Yeah, Claire, I haven't had breakfast yet. Does that mean? Yeah, I'll show you again in a minute. So we've got the leaf. Inside the leaf are the cells. Inside the cell is a chloroplast. Inside the chloroplasts are pancakes. I'm going to show you what happens inside the pancake. So first of all, you just need to know that protons with electrons going around them is what makes up an atom. And you might also remember that light can be a wave and a particle. And the first thing that happens involves a particle of light. Right, come on, let's do this. So, pancakes are disgusting. Sarah, pancakes are disgusting. We'll have none of that language, please, on my breakfast science lesson. Right, here we go. So, I might have to stand on a chair for this. It's quite big. So don't forget, we've got our leaf. Inside the leaf is a cell. Inside the cell are things called chloroplasts. And inside these chloroplasts are stacks of pancakes. Okay? And this is what you can see here. This is one of those pancakes. And all this is inside a leaf. I mean, imagine how small this is and all this is going on. All right. So what we have here, it looks a bit weird, but this is a particle of water. So water, you might have heard it called H2O. That just means it's got two hydrogen atoms attached to one oxygen atom. So the first thing that happens inside this pancake is that. Here's the chlorophyll down here. Chlorophyll is green. That's what makes the whole plant look green. A particle of light goes in, shines onto the leaf, hits the chlorophyll, and that makes this water particle here break up into hydrogen and oxygen. And luckily for us, the plant doesn't need the oxygen. So at this point, the plant just gets rid of the oxygen. Isn't that brilliant? That's why we can breathe. And the hydrogen breaks up into its protons and its electrons. So we'll get rid of those as well, so that the electrons and the protons are free. It's important to notice as well, so these are going to be our protons, those particles in the middle of the atom. It's important to notice that there's quite a lot of protons on the outside of the pancake as well, floating around in the fluid. There's about the same amount of protons in the middle. Okay, that's important. Now, what amazes me, I only learned this when I was about 26, is how the energy from this particle of light gets stored so that the plant can use it later. Because obviously plants are like us, like they need energy all the time to do everything. So they've got to have energy when it's not sunny as well. So how do plants work at night when there's no sun? This is what we're going to find out. So where does the energy from this light go? Well, first of all, the energy goes into breaking up this water particle and these hydrogen atoms, okay? And then what the plant does is, in the sort of skin of the pancake, is something called an electron carrier. It's just another particle, it's a proton, but it's a protein, but we'll just call it an electron carrier. And this electron carrier, it feels quite comfy to the electrons. It encourages the electrons to pop out of the pancake and into the skin and sort of sit on this electron carrier because it just fits them nicely. All right, so the energy from this particle of light has sort of become the energy of these electrons moving here. But now what happens? Like, how does the plant change that into any other energy? Well, next to that electron carrier is another electron carrier which fits the electrons just slightly better than the first electron carrier. So once they've got up here, they continue to use energy because they move again into the next electron carrier. And guess what happens next? Yeah, there's another electron carrier next to that, which is just a little bit more comfortable still. So the electrons move again. So this is all just the energy from that first particle of light being converted into different forms of energy. Are you guys still talking about pancakes? Will you focus, please? And you know what I'm going to say next? Yeah, there's loads of these electron carriers, all embedded in the skin, the membrane of this pancake, which is called a thylakoid, if you want to know everything. And that's how these electrons move along. I used to do a lot of charity shopping before lockdown. So here we go. Even more electron carriers. They just get comfier and comfier and comfier and comfier. And then they get to the last one, and you think, well, okay, but now what does the plant do? That's fine. They've moved along this chain. How's that going to help the plant? Well, the last electron carrier is a transfer molecule. So, and this transfer molecule, oh God, I just love this. It's carrying 2 protons. And what it does is it picks up the electrons. And what have we got now? What does 2 protons plus 2 electrons mean, if you've been really paying attention? That's 2 hydrogen atoms. And that just gets carried away and used to make sugar for the plant. There you go. All right. So then 2 more electrons would move up into the electron carrier and along and along and along and get carried away. And that's how that works. So that's good, isn't it? But now what? How does the plant use the energy to do anything else? Well, you might have noticed that that transfer molecule, it took its protons from the outside of the pancake. So we've got a few less protons on the outside of the pancake now than we have in the middle. And this is, I just love this, I'm sorry, I just keep saying that I love it, but I do. One of the electron carriers is also a proton transporter, and what it does is it goes into the outside of the pancake, it collects protons and it carries them into the middle of the pancake, and it just keeps doing that, see? So now what's happened, right, is after all that little particle of light hitting that little bit of chlorophyll down there, what's happened is we've got more protons in the middle of the pancake than we have on the outside of the pancake. Now that is what we call a concentration gradient. Okay. Now, if you've seen my previous lessons, you'll remember that these protons have a charge. They're positive, and identically charged things don't want to be next to each other. They push away from each other. And if you haven't got a very high concentration of something on the outside and you've got high concentration in the middle, they really want to get away. Okay, and this is another genius move. This is how the plant has evolved. There's only one place that those protons can go. They can go through a little channel, which is called a channel protein. Again, if you really want to know this stuff, it's called ATP synthase. And these protons are forced to travel through this protein. And essentially what that does is, this bit is very complicated, but the ATP synthase uses the movement of those protons to create essentially a battery for the plant, in simple terms. So the movement of those protons through that channel charges the plant's battery, and then when the sun goes down, the plant can use up all that energy, see? And then the sun comes out and that whole process starts again. There, that's it. Oh, Tracy is saying, I thought the protons repel each other. Did I do that thing where my brain did one thing and my mouth did another thing? Yeah, they repel each other. They push away from each other. Whew. And yeah, that's not that complicated, is it? That is how photosynthesis works. That is what is happening inside this leaf. That is why water plus carbon dioxide becomes oxygen and glucose. So carbon dioxide is used for making the sugar. Katrina, yeah, I am missing a story time. I was sort of, I kind of want to tell you a story, but I haven't got one. Sorry, I haven't had a coffee yet. Right, has anyone got any questions? What are you doing? You're having breakfast? Haven't had any breakfast or coffee. I think that's all I wanted to tell you guys. That's how photosynthesis works. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful, sunny and really quite early morning. I hope you enjoyed my first ever breakfast science lesson. Bye! And then I'll stay. Any questions? Come on, that was a lot, wasn't it? People just ranting at me about stories. No one's got any questions. Okay. Protons repel each other. Liz just shouts, AGB! Lucy, yeah, you've been on my science tour of York. Yeah, that was where this story first appeared. Proteins are amazing, being able to break the membrane in just the right way for the path to release just the electrons. Someone had to drop their brother off at nursery. Right, no questions. Then I will leave it there, my lovelies. Well done you for turning up at this time. You've had a good morning, haven't you, Lola Rage 8? Why do the protons all stay together in the battery pack area and not repel one another? Sadaf, that is a great question. That's where my model totally breaks down. So that, yeah, thank you for pointing that out. This bit is just totally made up. This is just me as a physicist going, and then stuff happens. Yeah, we're not going into that. But it's the movement through this channel that creates other very complicated molecules that the plant then uses. Who discovered photosynthesis? Do animals have ATPs? Oh, Oscar, what a brilliant question. Tracy, yeah, this is a good thing. You can watch it again. Do animals have ATPs? Oscar, I asked you for a question, and that was a brilliant one. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe can you look it up and tell me? Because this stuff's quite complicated. Hi, Rebecca, age 10. Hello. Do we eat protons? Yeah, because protons are inside atoms. So we eat them all the time. We're made up of them. We can't get away from them. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm just checking that there hasn't been any good questions. Yeah, this is a... Who discovered photosynthesis? I don't know. This is where I just spend 5 minutes going, oh no, oh no. Aaron and Kai, I'm glad that you like that. Oh, Florian Tallulah, hello. Emily, age 8, from Belvedere, hello. And bye. Bye-bye. Bye, Catherine in Northampton. Oh, hello, Christopher, good to see you. Can we do electricity next week? Nicola, I think I've been persuaded to do fossils next week. Because you can eat a lot of chocolate if we do my fossils lesson. How do the protons go into the tube when they're pushing away from each other? Yeah, that's another great question, Julie. I shouldn't have asked for questions. Don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'd just be making it up. I assume that like one gets used and then another gets used because they can like attach the things straight away. Like if there's any electrons around, as soon as a proton and an electron get together, then they're an atom and they're neutral, so they wouldn't push away from each other then. It's a terrible answer, I'm sorry. Oliver, you've got a question. Which is the best plant to do photosynthesis? Ooh, now, I don't know, but I guess because of what we learned yesterday about how banana leaves are enormous and green is the most efficient colour for a plant to be to get the energy from the sun, I guess it would be banana plants because they're green and they're really big, so they collect a lot of sun. Finn from Manchester. Oh, you've loved it. Whoa, no way, you just fully explained the process. Wow. Finn, no problem. Well done, Finn. Whew. Izzy and Rue, hello. How amazing are leaves? I know. I was so old before I realised that leaves were amazing. It is deep biology. Oh, Liz is learning about proteins at degree level. There you go, see. Oh, thank you, Liz. It was Oscar that asked. I hope he's still here. Yeah, ATP is in everything, is it? Oh, biology, there's not enough time in the world. Oh, Poppy, age 10 in Epsom. Hello. Epsom's where I used to work. I like Epsom. Lovely big top clock tower. Oh, Dominic, yeah, you liked Robert Hooke. I love Robert Hooke. I could talk about him all day. You finished your Go-Go Pop, so I'm watching you. See, I think this is my secret, actually. I think this is what I need to do, put the word breakfast in front of everything. It makes people want to come. Yeah, let's go have some pancakes. Oscar says yes. Oh, good, you are still there. So ATP is in everything, Oscar. Apparently, I've learned something new today. Bye-bye, Michelle. There are 21 amino acids to make everything work, says Liz. I sort of feel like we should jump over to Liz's live Facebook stream. She's got a lot more than I have on this. Ryan and Billy, you are very welcome. Bye. Michelle, you're 10. Oh yeah, Steve Backshall is on Facebook at 9:30. Oh, thanks, Eva. Brilliant. Oh, wow, this is why it's good meeting up early. You can sort my whole day out. Steve Backshall, Facebook, 9:30. Got it. Megan, age 9. I hope you enjoyed that. Nice garden. Oh, thanks, Norman Wyatt. That's not my garden. I wish. That's my street. Hi, Oliver, age 10. Bye, Jaden in Sutton Coldfield. Yay, fossils! I know, yeah. You had waffles for breakfast with raspberries. Oh, surely waffles are pancakes in a more interesting shape, though, aren't they? Bye, Louise. Ah, brilliant, Marlo. Fossils are one of your favourite subjects. All right, well then we'll definitely do fossils. Yeah, then I get to show you all my fossils. Oh, Callum, you like fossils as well? Good. Jessica says, never trust an atom. They make up everything. That's very good. They make up everything because they make up everything in the world is made up of atoms. Jessica, thank you. It's made my day. Hi, Even Leeds. Bye, Even Leeds. Oh, what's stoma? Thanks, Lena. Stoma are the names of the little holes in the back of the leaf where oxygen comes out and carbon dioxide goes in. Emmy, you are very welcome. I'll see you later. Bye, Jay. So do plants do nuclear fusion then in the chloroplast? Oh, well, yes. You're my kind of audience. Do plants do nuclear fusion? No. They don't. But, no. But will are. I was just thinking that we need to do a lesson on nuclear power. I'm fudging you a bit because it's been quite a long time since I did nuclear fusion properly. I'm going to put it on the list, Will are, or message me. Can you message me more about nuclear fusion if you want to learn more about it? Because I need an excuse to look it up. No, nuclear fusion is what happens in it. I'm just going to embarrass myself and my physics teacher friends watching. I'll get back to you. Ah, morning! Your 1-year-old is usually sleeping now, waving at me. Ah, hi, Louise's 1-year-old. Charlie, I didn't know you had a little person in the house as well. Hello, Charlie. Yeah, you can watch it later. The only sensible people were... Is that the 1-year-old giving me all these angry faces? That's what my 2-year-old does. Oh, bye, Helen. Good to see you. Harrison asks, how does the energy go all around the plant? Oh, what a great question, because you're thinking, like, we've got blood that gets all... well, our... It's a really good question. This is too deep for me. I don't know. It'll be... Yeah, I don't know. Harrison, that's a good one too. I'm going to write it down. You're very welcome. Sorry that I couldn't answer your question. Yeah, like, what's the plant equivalent of blood? If you could look it up for me too, and please tell me and message me to remind me that you asked, that would be great. Emily says, could you do a lesson on batteries and how they work? Emily, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea, because people keep asking to do electricity, but electricity is quite deep, so we should probably start with batteries. Makes more sense than anything ever taught at school and possibly uni too. Thanks, Liz T. Alice, hello, age 9. Hiya, Tracy. Goodness, please don't. I'm only learning about it. I definitely cannot explain. Kieran, Liz, have you not had coffee either? Hey, you are good, you lot. Jemima, I'm glad you found that really interesting. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't remember any of it, does it? All you need to know is... Hello! My phone is telling me that my storage is full, so I'd better go. How does a leaf capture sunlight if there is a leaf above it? Well, it doesn't, not very well. It would get some photons of light, but yeah, not as many. Often if a leaf drops off a tree, it's just a sign that it's not been efficient enough. Xylem moves the water around, phylum moves the sugar solution around to all the cells. Thank you, Kate, just before I had to go. Brilliant, there you go. Xylem moves the water around, phylum. Whoever wanted to know about like what leaf blood was, look up xylem and phylum. Yeah, I did know, honestly, I did know that. Just getting to the age where I can't remember everything. Okay, folks, I'm going to go before I rudely cut out. Thank you so much for joining me. I think we should do more of these. That was really lovely and a bit more mellow. See you soon. Bye.